Welcome to this presentation on the top mistakes to avoid when pursuing your CAPM certification. In this video, we'll explore the top mistakes candidates often make with CAPM certification prep and how you can avoid them to boost your chances of success. Whether you're just starting your journey or preparing for the exam, knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to study. Avoiding common mistakes can greatly increase your chances of passing the CAPM exam on your first attempt. It helps you use your time wisely, reduces stress, boosts your confidence, and prevents wasted effort. The CAPM exam tests not only your knowledge, but also your exam taking strategy. Knowing what to avoid can make a big difference between passing and falling short. In this section, we'll explore the most common pitfalls students face while preparing for the CAPM exam, along with tips on how to avoid them. One of the most common mistakes students make is neglecting the PMBOK guide. It's the foundational text for the CAPM exam, and skipping it can leave major gaps in your understanding. Yes, it can feel dense, but pairing it with other study materials and making it a core part of your prep is absolutely essential. Practice makes progress. Taking mock exams and practice questions helps you become familiar with the exam format, highlights weak spots, and builds the stamina and confidence needed to succeed on exam day. Practice tests are vital. They simulate the real exam, help you spot your weaknesses, and build your stamina for exam day. Memorization without understanding is a recipe for confusion. The CAPM exam tests application, not just definitions. Focus on grasping the logic and purpose behind project management principles to answer scenario-based questions effectively. The CAPM exam requires you to understand how project management processes work together, not just repeat definitions. Focus on why each process exists and how they fit into the bigger picture. Another major mistake students make is skipping the CAPM exam content outline. Think of it as your roadmap. It shows you exactly what topics are covered and how much weight each one carries. Ignoring it can lead to wasted study time on topics that may not even appear on the exam. Some students believe they can pass the exam by focusing on just a few domain areas, but if you ignore others, you're leaving easy points on the table. Agile and business analysis are also key parts of the CAPM exam, and they're just as important as the traditional project management topics. No single resource is enough. Relying solely on the PMBOK guide or any one book limits your perspective. Use a combination of videos, quizzes, study groups, and prep books to get a well-rounded view. Another common mistake is assuming the CAPM exam is easy and doesn't require serious preparation. But the CAPM is a professional level exam. It's not just about knowing terms, it's about applying concepts and thinking critically. Many candidates are surprised by the depth and complexity of the questions. That's why it's important to treat it with the seriousness it deserves and prepare accordingly. Don't rush to schedule the exam. Make sure you've completed your study plan and consistently score well on practice tests. Being overconfident or underprepared can be a costly mistake. In some cases, students neglect their health during exam preparation. A healthy body supports a focused mind. Lack of sleep and burnout can lead to poor performance. Balance your study sessions with rest, exercise, and good nutrition. Take breaks, maintain a healthy routine, and avoid burnout. Now that we've covered mistakes made during exam preparation, let's shift our focus to what happens on exam day. In this section, we'll highlight common mistakes students make while taking the CAPM exam and how you can avoid them to stay calm, focused, and in control. It is important to manage your time wisely during the exam. You have 3 hours to answer 150 questions. That means about 1.2 minutes per question. Monitor your pace and don't get stuck on any single item. Keep track of time and pace yourself. Another common mistake is spending too much time on difficult questions. Some questions will be tricky. Flag them and move on. You can come back later. Don't let a few tough ones eat up your valuable time. Another common mistake students make is not reading the questions carefully. Many wrong answers come from simple misreading. Slow down and take the time to read each question thoroughly. Watch for phrases like, "What should the project manager do next?" or "What should the project manager do first?" These small differences can completely change what the question is asking. It's easy to get flustered during the exam, especially if you've forgotten key formulas. That's why it's so important to memorize the critical ones before test day and write them down as soon as the exam begins. Doing this quick brain dump early will save time and help ease the pressure later on. Before we wrap up, here are a few final tips to help you succeed on the CAPM exam. Stick to a realistic study schedule. Use a mix of resources. Prioritize your health and stay confident throughout the process. Remember, success isn't just about how much you study, but how well you study. Ready to boost your confidence and pass the CAPM exam? Enroll in the Ultimate CAPM Exam Prep course on Udemy. Get the structure, support, and success strategies you need. You'll get 23 plus contact hours, more than enough to meet the PMI requirements. We cover the entire exam content thoroughly, so you won't miss a thing. You'll have access to practice questions and full-length mock exams that test your readiness. And best of all, you get lifetime access, so you can study at your own pace and revisit the material anytime. Click the link in the description to get started today.